All right, so I am not going to do live streams daily, which I thought I might initially. Well, I didn't start it this week, but this is Friday, 5 p.m. My first week live full time as the Kavalier. I have had several live streams where I talk about my thought process behind doing this full time and why I'm doing it and how I'm doing it. I got a lot more detail to share as much as I can there. But this is like I did it. It's the first week. Monday was my first day as a full-time creator, and I was out in the studio every day by 5:45 a.m. and I was out here till 5 p.m. I went up to the house for lunch and get to see the kids, and then 5 o'clock shut off and go spend time with the family, because there's a lot of components of this. A big component of it is spending more time with my family and having the control to, like, at 4 o'clock on Monday, went and saw a movie with my son for his birthday. 3 years old. Time flies. When I started the channel, I had 0 children. Fun fact. So I have a few notes for what I want to talk about. I want to try and keep this brief because it's 5 o'clock and I want to go see my family for the weekend. This week has been very overwhelming for a lot of different reasons. I put out 2 videos this week. Actually, I have a video that's uploading right now. And there were weeks during, when I worked my day job, there were whole stretches of a couple of months where I would post every single weekday. And what my job forced me to do was not only to say, okay, actually my dinner's done according to my sous vide cooker. What my job forced me to do is say, okay, I have this much time to work, and you make as much of the time as you can. And also, I would be chewing on ideas in the background while doing other things. So if I'm on a flight, I'm thinking about this. If I'm working on, I'm always kind of chewing on things, so that by the time I would have the mornings to work on the videos, boom, I would bang them out. There was a lot of, it was a lot of weird stuff, but I couldn't get moving this week for some reason. And that definitely happened before, where I would have a tough time. I hate video editing. I hate editing myself. But I've pushed through it for 450 videos, so I can do it. But that's part of the plan, is to have a video editor so that I can shoot the videos, do my outline, shoot the video, and just send it off, have the video editing done, because it can take an hour or more for a 10-minute video to be edited. So that's a big one. Coming out to the studio is it is critical to this. I have 250 feet to get to my house, to get to the studio. Upstairs is work. It's like my computer. I work on my computer. I'll sit on my desk back here sometimes. And if I want to decompress and relax, I have a couch downstairs, the TV, and all kinds of stuff down there that I can decompress with. And so I'm doing my best to compartmentalize. It's like when I'm home with my family, trying not to let stuff bleed into there. When I'm downstairs, I can read books, I can watch movies, I can watch YouTube videos. And when I'm up here, this is get stuff done. And I was up here most of the week. There's just a lot of stuff to get done. When I said in May that I was going to be able to do this full time, there was a lot of things that I've considered over the last 3 years that I started making notes of. And I have this to-do list of what I want to get done by quarter. And then I broke that down into weeks. So I know where I want to be at the end of September, and I've broken that down to say all right, this is how I can accomplish stuff this week. And then I'm breaking those down by day so that I can try and say all right, this is what I want to get done. Good, done, do it. I make checklists each day and mark things off. But video editing I wanted to have 3 or 4 days videos ahead of time, but I just can't bring myself to edit them. So that's a big opportunity for next week. But then also just my own process, a huge component of having more time to work on the channel is to take a step back and slow down, because I can't tell you how many times I would do a video and I would get a fact wrong. I would leave an issue in there with editing because I was rushing through to post it by a certain time. There's just a lot of small things that I know that I can improve now that I have the time to think through a video longer, or to edit it for a little bit longer. I'm not trying to hit a deadline like I was. I was always trying to hit I have to edit the video before I leave for work in the morning and then schedule it to post. And it resulted in mediocre videos. I have 450 mediocre videos, in my opinion. Maybe 3 of them I'm actually like proud of: the James Bond one, the Swatch one, and the Jim Halpert one. Those ones I like took the time to go through it and edit it and watch it before I posted. There's a lot of videos where I would literally finish editing it, I would export it and upload it, and I wouldn't watch it until later, and then I would find an error. So that's a big thing that I'm looking to improve. And so my process, but then I'm also working on a lot of disparate projects that I know are necessary or that I want to do for the channel. Like I'm setting up a meetup in New York with Brock, the Articles of Style guys. I'm setting up a meetup with Teddy Baldessar in Cleveland. I want to get together with some guys. Like I've talked about this in my podcast, is now that I have the time to dedicate to growing the channel and to really getting a deeper relationship with my viewers, I want to get to cities around here. So I'm going to start in Cleveland. I've got New York. I've got LA, because I'm already scheduled to go out there for a session. But like I could hit Richmond, Virginia is not very far. I'm going to DC in November. There's all kinds of places I want to go, and I'm starting to like get those things kind of lined up. And so there's just a lot of stuff I'm working on, but I've always had trouble like focusing. And that's the last thing I have written on this note is, if there's something, and I talked about this in my weakness video, if there's something that will sink me in this venture, it's that I have lots of ideas, I have lots of ambition, but some of my execution lacks. And this week and this process is going to only highlight and shine a light on my weaknesses, and it is forcing me to focus on those so that I can improve them, because I was always able to, and that's the great example of this is I always had an excuse for the channel as to why I wasn't doing something. And there's 2 good ones this week. So, and it was always because, look, I didn't get this video done because I'm working full time. And if I had something to follow up with, hey, I'm working a day job, give me a break. I don't have that anymore. And number one is I did an interview with Christian from Theo and Harris, where I recorded myself from my camera, and I was partially out of focus the entire time. It's unacceptable. And in the past, I could come up with an excuse of like, I was rushing because I did this or this or that. Like, I don't have that anymore. And that is something that's going to directly improve the videos on the channel. Number 2, I have had, since the end of May, I have had 20 sneaker brands in my studio to do a sneaker roundup, and it is potentially the biggest video. It has the potential to be the most viewed, most watched, biggest video that I've ever done, because it's a topic that is very talked about. It's very hot. All the brands are brands that people have been asking for, and I have them right here. But I spent the whole week procrastinating doing that video. I was doing other things. I got tons of stuff done this week that I needed to get done, like administrative stuff, following up with brands, there was stuff that I was doing, but I was pushing that video off. I wanted to have it posted today, and I didn't do it. And that's a failure. It's an absolute failure on my part. And it's caused a lot of stress and anxiety for me the entire week. Every day, I've never felt this in my day job. I always knew that like I could get stuff done, or there was a team and other people. But now I've had this pressure on my chest that is like it's been like I think I said in the beginning, it's been overwhelming all week to the changes. And it just really highlights like this is something that I'm doing on my own. I have Zach that is very critical to helping me manage things in the background and keep things going, but one-man show, entrepreneurship. So I can probably set this aside for the weekend and come back to it on Monday. I know I need to get the video done. The video will be huge for the channel. It's a huge thing for growth. It's a huge thing for viewership. It's a huge help. The reason for that is because it's going to be a huge help to you guys, the people who are watching the channel, because if you want to buy great sneakers, you don't want to buy the common projects. There's so many other options, and I literally have them all right here. So that has been my week. I should say the positives on this are that I spent, I got to go and see my family every day for lunch. I got to see my son in the morning and say goodbye, and like there's been a lot of positives this week. My brother has been working on these shelves downstairs, and I got to see him a little bit while he was working. I got to go get dinner with a friend. He's actually a copywriter. He's going to be helping out with the channel a little bit. He worked in a marketing agency in writing, and he's going to help me with some of the stuff for the website. The website's a huge opportunity for me as well. And I keep telling Zach, it's like there's so much opportunity everywhere. I have so many ideas, and it literally now is coming down to execution, which is my weakness in some ways. It's like if you give me a process or something to follow, I can do it like a worker bee. But sometimes developing the process is where I lack competency, and that's what I have to overcome, and that's what will either make or break me in the end. And so I forgot to post my 5 o'clock watch photo. See, I'm slipping on stuff, but this has been a great crash course, great first week. Luckily, I have enough runway and enough stuff going on that it's like, I can have this type of week and I'll be okay. I want to decompress over the weekend, kind of turn it off for a little bit and then come back to it on Monday fresh, because I do have a video that's already shot. I just have to edit it for Monday. And I got tons. Part of it is I've got so much stuff to get. I have so many videos and products and things that I want to get onto the channel. It's literally just about shooting it. And before it was like I would just shoot it really quickly, but now I see where I want the videos to be. Like I watch Carl Morowski's videos and I watch his Instagram, and he's like upgrading his process and everything else. And like I can see where I want the videos to be versus where they're at today. There's a delta between those two things. And it's like I just have to make the improvements to slowly get up to that point. And what do you say? It's enough rambling for this week. So I do have a few other streams that I did between May and August when I left my job. So I talked about putting in my 2 weeks. I talked about, setting things up from like just having things laid out as a company. And then what I do want to walk through also on the stream is like I basically laid out a P&L for I set up my P&L for 17 and said like, here was my income through the channel, here's my expenses, and I laid that out. I had that set up for 2018 with projections through the end of the year, and then I projected out 2019, 2020, and 2021. Obviously everything goes up a little bit, but trying to anticipate like if I make certain moves, how will I grow? What will that enable me to do? Namely I'll have part-time or full-time employee, spend more money on video editors, spend more money on gear, and in travel. I got a budget for travel expenses now. I got a budget for my healthcare expenses. I got a budget for so many things, and having that all laid out in the P&L is very helpful. And I'm gonna end it there because I have to post a picture on Instagram and post my Friday, the video that I just finished editing. It's not the sneaker roundup, unfortunately, but I'm shooting for that next Friday. If I don't get it up next Friday, I'm just gonna delete the channel and go get a job at McDonald's or something. So, also, iPhones are expensive. I've had this phone for 2.5 years, and I got to upgrade it, and got to put that in the budget too. So, thank you for listening to my rambling. Hopefully, it helps anybody. If you're curious, I'm not gonna click that button again. But hey, stay stylish, and I'm going to recharge over the weekend. So have a good one, gents.